Hello everybody. I was just going to do a quick video here of how to get the Stream Deck working with iRacing. Sort of a quick start guide. I'm not an expert, but these settings seem to work for me, and I was just going to pass it along. This thing is capable of much more than what I use it for. I only use it for iRacing. So anyway, enough jibber jabber here. We're going to go ahead and get started. So what we're trying to do with our Stream Deck is essentially simulate the pit commands that you can see, um, down at the bottom of this with the pit commands that you're able to enter in the chat window in iRacing. So this is kind of what we're going after, what we're trying to do here. So anyway, um, here are the pit macro commands that you can find on iRacing's website. Essentially, just Google iRacing pit macro commands, and it'll be a full description and a web page there that shows you what all these different functions do. So what I'm going to try to do is show you the way that I have mine set up and just use that as a quick start. So you can see here I've already got my Stream Deck set up just for a few iRacing commands. And so what we're going to do is try to create a new profile and sort of simulate what I've got here. So what I'm going to do is just turn on a little JPEG there so that I can reference that as to what we're trying to create. So the first thing that you would need to do is to go ahead, click this little wheel bar here and go under General. Let me see if yeah, there we go. Okay, go under the General tab and look and check for updates. Make sure that your software version is 6.9 or higher. Let's see, currently it is May the 22nd. I think earlier this month they just updated that. There was an issue with the previous version where whenever you got ready to shut down your computer, apparently it didn't close out correctly or something. Didn't cause any issues or anything, but Windows would yell at you trying to let you know that there was a few devices or few applications running that hadn't been shut down yet. So anyway, this version fixed that. So whenever you get this, you're probably going to be coming up, let's see, I don't even know. Yeah, this is probably the default profile that you'll have. And by the way, in order to bring up this screen, if you would just go down into the bottom right hand corner of your taskbar there and let's see, what is this thing right here? System tray, I guess is what you would call it. And just click on a little icon that says Stream Deck, and it'll automatically pop up uh, this control here to control your Stream Deck. Okay, so anyway, again, what we're going to be trying to do is emulate what I've got in iRacing. So we're going to come over here and we're going to create a new profile. Now it says profile 1. In order to change that to something else, you actually have to come down here and say edit profiles. So what we're going to do is click on profile 1, and then we are going to right click on that, type in rename, and I'll just say iRacing quick start. How about it? Okay, just hit enter. So now we've got a new profile, so we'll just enter profiles rename, so we'll just come right back here. And as you can see on the screen over here to the left, which apparently my cursor isn't going to show that. But anyway, the easiest one that we're going to start with is probably the damage report. And all that does is just give you a report on any kind of damage. Your spotter will let you know, report back to you, how much damage you have after you've been in an accident. So we'll click on this space here, and then we are going to go over to let's see here, system hotkey. That's what we're looking for. So you'll just drag this right over to here, release it, and then you'll have this little icon down here. Now, if you click on the plus sign, that's going to give you some built-in icons that you can use that are built in with Stream Deck. I've created some of my own that we're going to use. So you click on this down arrow and just say set from file. Whenever you're creating these icons, I think mine just happened to be, yeah, like that one is 1177 by 1178. More or less, they just need to be square. Stream Deck does a really good job of resizing these icons, and you can find them, on the internet or create your own or whatever. But anyway, on this particular one, we're going to be using this little clipboard here to show the damage or indicate a damage, and automatically it'll show up here as well as on your Stream Deck. You should be able to see that if it's plugged up, functioning correctly. So here under the title, this is also going to show up on your Stream Deck button, and we're just going to call this damage, okay? And you can see the text up there. It's a little hard to read, so we just come right over here. I can't even remember. I think I might have picked an orange color or something like that. So we'll click over here, maybe go with that orange one, and you'll see that still hard to read, but you're when you're racing, you're more or less looking at the icons anyway. You can click on these buttons to place the title of your button up or down, or even turn it on and off. I just put it down at the bottom, but that's up to you. Now, I also noticed I misspelled that. So what we're going to do, once I click here, it's going to be asking for a hotkey. And so it's going to be recording your keystrokes. Now in iRacing, I have my damage report set to alternate and 3. So that's what we're going to do. I'll click here. It's observing my keystrokes. Hold down alternate 3. And there we go. It's set. That's all there is. So whenever you click this button on your Stream Deck, your spotter will give you a damage report as to how much damage you have in your car, if any. So that one's pretty easy. The another one that's very similar to that is probably the brake bias. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And again, I'm just going to show you how I have mine. And these are also working off of hotkeys, which are your brake bias adjustment keys are set inside of iRacing. So this is just going to simulate your keyboard hitting those hotkeys. So we'll just drag hotkey function over here. And in this case here, I'm going to get it from file. So we're going to be increasing the brake bias towards the front. Put in that. And then for the title, let's see, I think I just used plus front. There we go. You can see that's already up there. So that's just a little title of the button you'll see. And then for the hotkey here, I've got alternate 1. So it's observing. I'll hold down alternate 1 and it's got it. And that's pretty much it for your brake bias. Again, the hotkeys are set, alternate plus 1 is set inside of iRacing settings. So you'll have, a bunch of options in there. You have to go find that for your front and rear. But we'll go ahead and do the rear real quick here as well. Again, we'll drag over the hotkey. We will set from file. Click on that, add the brake bias towards the rear. And then I'll title this plus rear. And let me see, we got a alternate 2. There we go. So the front and rear is set up. Now let's see, let's work on no tires now. So this one is a little bit different. Sitting here trying to get my brain straight. So what we're going to do here is this one is going to need a multi-action. And the reason for that is because in iRacing, if you were to use your keyboard, you'd have to hit the T key, and then which will bring up the chat window, and then you could type in your pit command. So At this point, let's see, let's just go ahead and set the icon for this. And there is the icon I use for no tires. So we got that set. Let's see, the title is going to be no tires. So there we got that. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is simulate hitting the T key on your keyboard, which that would be a hotkey. Doesn't really matter about the title of this function that's going on here, so we'll just name it T. And it's observing the keystrokes, hit T. Okay, and now what we want to do is add in text. In other words, what would we normally be typing in on the keyboard? And for this one right here, the title really doesn't matter with these functions, but I'll just go ahead and say no tires. And then I'm going to paste in uh, what needs to be said. Again, you'll have to go back to the iRacing. Let me go ahead and type that in real quick. Go back to this website here to sort of reference, the commands that you want to use. So in our instance, the third one down says pound clear tires. So that's what we're going to be doing. And that is what I have inserted over here. Pound clear tires space WS is to get a windshield tear off whenever they're available. The other thing that you have to remember to do, or there's actually two things. Press enter after it types in the message. And then down here from text mode, this was part of the software update. I'm not familiar with that, so what I've been using is just simulate typing. So that thing is just going to simulate what you would type in on your keyboard. Okay, so now we got the hotkey set, T, then our text comes in, and then we press enter. Okay, and so if we back out, you'll see the icon is set there, and it's going to show up on your Stream Deck right here. So whenever you press this, it is going to come down here. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get back to it, you would just click on the button right up here, and then down at the bottom, below the title, content says two actions. Just click on that little right arrow, and you come back here in case you don't type in something correctly or whatever, but there is no save button. You can just kind of click back up here and go back up the tree, if you will. So the next one we're going to do is the left side tires. So we'll click here, and then we're going to use a multi-action, and then we're going to set from file. Whoops, that's my right side. So we'll go lefts. Okay. The title here will just be lefts. And then we're going to drag in, let's see, where's it? Hotkey and some text. Okay, so we'll go up here to the hotkey, just name it T. Again, we're just trying to get into iRacing's text chat. And for the text here, I'm going to copy and paste this just to make sure I don't mistype anything. So I'll paste that in there, pound L for left side space, WS for windshield tear off while we're in there. And I'll just name this lefts, but it really doesn't matter. Press enter after message and simulate typing. And then if we back up the tree, you'll see we got the left side set and we're rocking on here. So we'll go do the exact same thing for the right side. Again, this is going to be a multi-action. We'll set from file, click on the right side icon, and this one is going to be titled Rights. This is what will show up on your Stream Deck, as you can see right there. Then we're going to add a hotkey and some text. Hotkey here, we'll just call it T. Type in T, system text, we'll just say rights. And then I'm going to again paste in this little pound command for iRacing to interpret. Right. Sorry about that. The battery just died in my headphones here, so I got that back up and running. So we got pound R for right side space, WS for windshield tear off, press enter after message, simulate type. Then we just back right back out. Okay, so let's see here. The fuel would pretty much be the same way. I'm not really going to bore you guys with that, um, which you can see over there in a little JPEG beside my screen off to the left here. Um, Another thing that you may want to do is you can have more than one page of functions within your profile. So in my case, if we were to come back over here to the one that I use, which is my iRacing, I actually have another page here that's set up for like race control. So I can clear all black flags. I never did set it up to black flag anyone, but this icon here is just a little wave action. And so I can press this, type in 74, and then enter, and that will wave by the 74. So all these, you can just enter it in. It's just not a hotkey, but the wave here, you can tell it's got a system hotkey of T. Then the system text is a pound W to give the wave command, but you'll notice there is no enter after this message. And we got it set to simulate type in there as well. So what it's going to do is trigger the iRacing chat box, put in pound W, and then you can type in the car number 45, enter, and it will wave the 45 back. So just want to give you a heads up on that for creating different pages. So we'll come back over here. If you want to create another page, all you have to do is hit this plus sign. Now you've got a whole nother page, and this button here will actually take you back to the previous page if you were to press it. And this is what Stream Deck automatically puts these in here, but you can move them around if you wanted to, or change the icon or whatever. Or if you want to do it manually, you can come over here to the functions over to the right, navigation, and you'll see there's a next page that you could drag in over here that would essentially do the same thing. I'm just going to delete that out. Let's say yes. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. So anyway, we'll come back over here to the first tab. Now this next one is kind of tricky because what we want to do is the fast repair. If you'll see over here, I'm not sure if my cursor shows up on the screen or not, but anyway, over the top left hand corner you'll see a little green button for fast repair, and what that thing actually does is it toggles the fast repair option on and off, especially useful whenever you have multiple fast repairs. Sometimes you want it to be on, sometimes you want it to be off. Most of the time, I will turn it off, and if I go into pit and decide that I do need it, I'll turn it on as I hit pit road. So this one's a bit confusing, but what we're going to do is a multi-action switch. So it's going to be toggling between two different functions as we go. So I just drag it over here. Okay, and so this one is actually going to have two different titles because we're going to have a fast repair on and a fast repair off. Now, unless you change it in iRacing, it defaults to the fast repair being on. So that's what we'll just title this here. I'll just say FR on. Okay, and I will go ahead and load the fast repair icon being on. And there we go. So now the strange thing is that even though this says fast repair on, when you press this button, you want it to turn it off. So this goes back to the, again, repeating the same options that we did before, but we're going to have two sets of them here. So we're going to need a hotkey and we're going to need text. The hotkey again would just be T. Hit T there. Okay, and then for the system text, this right here, uh, the title of this function is actually going to be fast repair off. Okay, and for the text, I'm just going to make sure I don't do any kind of typos or anything. I'm just going to copy and paste it in here. That will be pound negative fast repair. And again, if you go back to your Iracing website there to show, if you put in a negative in front of your pit command, it will do the opposite. In other words, turn it off. And then we want to press enter after that, simulate typing. Okay, and so that is the first function. Now, if we were to come back up here, we're going to use two separate icons. One's going to say fast repair on, fast repair off. So this is for the first function. Second function, we're going to load from file, fast repair off. There we go. Now, you'll notice that the title here still says fast repair on. Well, the way it's sort of a versatility of Stream Deck, it's going to keep the same title no matter which icon you're on there, unless you turn it off. So here we want this one to display the button as saying fast repair off, but this little button right here links the title between the states. So if you click on it, it will unlink it so that now we can change this title to fast repair off. This one will be fast repair on. Okay, and now you'll notice that on fast repair off we have 0 actions, whereas fast repair on has 2 actions. And again, to see those, we had a hotkey T, fast repair off, pound negative, fast repair. So we'll come back over here, switch to fast repair off. This is what we want displayed on our button, but whenever we press it, we want it to perform an action to go back to fast repair on. And it's going to toggle itself between these. So if it's green, you press it, it'll turn red. If it's red, you press it, it'll turn green. Okay, so we have 0 action, so we'll come right over here, click on that button. We're going to need a hotkey. We're going to need text. The hotkey again is T, just to bring up chat window. The text here is actually going to be fast repair on, even though we're pressing the button with the red. This is just the name of the function, not the title of the button. So again, I'm going to copy and paste the text. There we go, turn it on, press enter after the message, simulate typing, and then you can just back right back out of it. And so now what I'm going to do is press the button, my physical button here on my desk, and I think it will switch in what you're seeing here. Okay, so it did. Now it did in this little software program here. It essentially took you to this function, but now on my desktop, the button is red, and it's showing that fast repair is off. So the green button turned off the fast repair, and then Stream Deck toggled over to the next function for the button, which is fast repair off. If I click it again, the software is going to pull that function up. But on my desktop, on my physical Stream Deck, it goes to fast repair on. So that's just the way I have it set up. It's a little bit confusing to set up, But again, it kind of gives me the function of being able to toggle the fast repair on and off with just one button. Um, one other thing that I might go ahead and do just to show you the pit commands for, say, I don't know, I got mine set up so that I can add different amounts of fuel or none at all. Well, what the heck? While we're here, we'll go ahead and do it. So what I'm going to need to do here, let's see, we're going to be going with no fuel. So we're going to be going with a multi-action. And I'll go ahead and change the icon to no fuel. Okay, and then we're going to need a hotkey and text. Hotkey again be T. I don't even know if you even have to give this thing a title or not. I just always do. So there we go. Got my hotkey set. This right here be no fuel, even though it doesn't show up anywhere. It's just the name of the function that we're doing. And I am going to copy and paste this little command. Copy, paste, hit enter, simulate typing, and then we'll back up the tree and you see that I got that. Oh, I forgot to set the title here, and we will call this no fuel. The next function that I have in this button here is just kind of do like a splash and go. I just got it set to 5 gallons. And this is mainly what I wanted to show you guys. Many of you may know, some of you beginners may not, that you can actually tell iRacing exactly how many gallons you want to put in there. Now, it's not going to hit it exact, but it'll get as close as it can to, say, in my case here, 5 gallons. So what we're going to do is drag the multi-action over. We're going to go ahead. I like to go ahead and set the icon so I can remember what I'm working on. We're going to go with a little 5-gallon icon there. And I will even name it 5 gallons. You can use something else. You change that. Let's just say 5 gallons. Okay. And then what we're going to need is a hotkey and text. Hotkey T T. The text will be, see, I'll just say 5G. And I'm going to, I think I've got, yes, I do over here. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in here. Fuel 5 gallons, enter after message, simulate type. And there we have it. So that you can change this number to whatever you want it to be, 5, 10. I think anything over 22 and it'll probably fill it up. And there are other options too if you go back to iRacing's website that shows you those pit commands. This again is just the way that I have mine set up. And you can also see where this button here is currently on mine set up to 10 gallons. If we go back over here, right there. So, and I've also got a little pitting in message. And all of that is set. Let me go back over to here, turn this on. Pitting in iRacing is set to the hotkey number 1. So essentially all you have to do if you want to do a pitting in is just drag in a single hotkey function. Go back over here. I'm actually going to move that up to there. Create one here. And let's see if I can find my, there we go, hotkey. And so I'll take this right here, and I don't think I have an icon from that one. So what I'll do is click on this plus sign, and we'll just see if we can't find some kind of arrow or something. Maybe I don't go by it. There's one right there that I must have used. So we'll use one of the built-in icons for pitting in, and we'll even call it pitting in. And now it's going to be looking for a hotkey. And again, mine, just like it shows here, this was just a clip taken off of iRacing's website. But anyway, pitting in's got a hotkey 1 assigned to it. So all I have to do is click here, click 1, and now it's set. And there you go. So, and the neat thing is, whatever you see up here is what is on your physical Stream Deck on your desk. And you can actually move these buttons around if you don't like the orientation or anything, kind of drag and drop. But anyway, don't mean to bore you. Probably the most difficult one was the fast repair on and off. There are certainly other ways that you can do this. If you wanted to, you could actually, you know, change and do your pit commands here, like Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4, and 5 are set. If you set up the chat window just like you see here, and then come in the Stream Deck, for instance, 2 gallons of fuel, you just set up a Alt key, a hotkey for Alt 4, and it will do the same thing as what pitting in is doing over here. Whoops. So that's all I'm doing. I'm using the built-in iRacing hotkey functions there that you saw. And so there's several different ways of doing it. You can certainly use this. It apparently can be used for just about any kind of program that you got. You can control your volume, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not really going to go into that. One other thing, too, that I did want to point out, and I'm not an expert on getting that because, oh, here's one other very important detail that we need to do. So whatever you name your profile here, you need to set that one to the default. So what we'll do is go to Edit Profiles. You'll see I got iRacing Quick Start. And what I want to do is make this my default profile. Now, you do have the option here to setting this profile to load whenever you fire up one of these programs or anything that I got over here. Again, the only time I ever use it is for iRacing, so I just use the default profile, or make, in this case here, iRacing Quick Start be the default profile. Now, since I actually use iRacing, I'll come back over here, make that my default profile. I don't have an application link to it. Again, I haven't really got dug into it that deep. I just leave mine on iRacing all the time. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick start. So hopefully when you tear into the box, you can plug her in and go ahead and get started and try it out in iRacing. If you guys discover anything neat, new, or if you prefer a different method, leave some comments down there. I mean, hey, I'm not an expert in any of this, and I'd certainly love to know if somebody's come up with a better way. Alrighty, guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the track.